I'm Saturday hauling for you guys today, and I'm gonna go ahead and start off with a repurchase, which you guys have heard me talk about this for quite some time, but I feel like I kind of go through it rather quickly, even though it's a substantial amount of product that you're getting. But then again, you know, like, time has been going so fast lately. It probably does last me a decent amount of time. It just doesn't feel like it because lately I just don't know where the time goes. But anyway, it's the Eminence Organic Skincare Strawberry Rhubarb Dermafoliant with Lactic Acid. I think I have about a fourth of a bottle left in the shower. But this is a 4.2 ounce tin shaker style bottle product. It looks like this. It's a powdered product, and what I like to do is put this in the palm of my hands and mix like a little bit of a really gentle cleanser in with it and use that as my morning cleanse. It just kind of helps to polish the surface of the skin from the tretinoin that I've used the night before, and also really clean it with a gentle cleanser. So again, a product I've been using for a really long time, and I just continually go back to it, so I never like to be without it. So when I feel the like tin bottle feeling lighter, then I buy another one to make sure that I don't run out. So anyway, that's the Eminence Organic Skincare Strawberry Rhubarb Dermafoliant right there. And then I got one item from Pat McGrath's new collection, and I don't remember the name of the collection, but I got the eyeshadow quad. So this is the Luxe eyeshadow quad in Passion Floor. There's a total 0.19 ounces of product across 4 shades, and this guy here is, it says on the back, made in the USA of US and imported ingredients. If memory serves me correctly, her original quads used to be made in Italy, so they have switched around some manufacturing stuff, but this is what the box packaging on this guy looks like. And I really liked that they switched it up from the black packaging and put this one in a pink. Granted, it's nothing fancy, it's just a different color, but I still appreciate it more than just having the same black packaging, you know. It's nicely weighted and it has a magnetic closure on there, and then you can see the names on the back. And I thought this was going to be kind of a quick one and done quad for me, and there are 2 shimmer borderline metallic shades in here, and then one really metallic one with some super fine either micro glitters or larger shimmers in it, which is this guy. And then you've got the one matte shade in there. And I thought it was going to be like a one and done for me, and when I wore this, I don't know what it was, but I just disliked my eye look so bad. It was one of the times that I wanted to just wipe it off and start over. I didn't, but I wanted to. That's like how bad I disliked it. And there was something about this pink shade, which I used on the lid, that it just emphasized at all of the like lines in my eyelids, or either it made them look like they were dry, which I found really interesting. It could have just been I had a dry eyelid day, because I do have dry eyelids and dry under eyes and stuff like that, or it could be the product. But I disliked the way that this looks so much that I haven't used it again. And I think that I would like it a bit more if I incorporate other shades, because these 3 shades here are really shiny, and I put this matte shade in the crease and I tried to blend it out with that copper, but the copper just really was quite pigmented, and it went right over the top of the matte and almost like took away the depth and dimension that the matte shadow gave. So I actually found it a little tricky to try to make a look out of this palette with these 4 shades, even though I initially thought it was going to be a good one and done. So anyway, again, I think it's going to be a better pairing palette for me than trying to use it solo, because I don't know, there's something about this pink shade. I just really thought it made my eyelids look dry and quite like, you know, emphasize the lines in them, which was interesting. So if you have picked this up, I would love to know your opinion on it. See, it's got such a pretty shine on it, but you can see it's not quite as smooth as the copper there. I'll blend it out a little bit better. And you can see they have nice pigmentation and stuff like that. So I will try it again, but I'm not going to wear it by itself. I'm going to do like some nice matte shadows through the crease, and then maybe pop something like this on the, mainly on the lid, and a little bit of that on the inner corner and stuff like that. I just didn't care for it by itself, and I'm not sure why that made my eyelid look dry, but I was just looking at it on the back of my hand, and even on the back of my hand, it's really emphasizing the texture on the back of my hand. It's like a thicker consistency where some of the particles are trying to kind of like stick together, and that could be part of the problem, because primarily I had this guy on that was just like, gosh, my eyelids look not that great. Anyway, that is the new Pat McGrath Labs Luxe Eyeshadow Quad in Passion Fleur right there. And those are actually the only 2 items that I got in this week that I purchased. I've been like super busy, and when I get like that, I don't have like the time to like browse the normal websites that I do and find like new things that I want to purchase. So I need to do that. Maybe after I'm done editing this, I can find some time, but it's so nice outside, so I don't want to waste nice outside time with the horses to shop online. But I did get in some really lovely PR, so hopefully you guys don't mind. This first one is from BareMinerals. They sent me over 2 shades of their original loose powder foundation with SPF 15, and the little card says Fortar on there, which I just live for. But back in the day, the original BareMinerals foundation was my jam. Like, I wore this stuff nonstop, and the original powder foundation from BareMinerals in comparison to the matte foundation is a little bit more shiny. And when I started using the Josie Maran SPF 47, as I've gotten older, my skin has gotten drier, so I really appreciate the amount of moisturization that the Josie Maran does for my skin. And because of that really tacky moisturizing base that the SPF 47 from Josie Maran gives my skin, it makes it harder to buff over a powder foundation. So when I use powder foundations, what I take is like a sort of dense powder or buffing brush, and I pick the product up and I press it into the skin. So because if I start to swirl, then it'll move the sunscreen and the product will start to gather along with the powder foundation. It just doesn't look cute. So when BareMinerals came out with the matte version of their foundation, I used that for a really long time, and I just patted it over the Josie Maran SPF 47. I love the coverage that it gives. It's for me, a very full coverage product, but I don't typically gravitate towards the original anymore just because of the extra shine that this gives over the SPF 47 from Josie Maran, and it ends up being just a little bit heavier on the skin than I would like. It's not necessarily the product. Like I said before, I used the Josie Maran. This was my go-to. Like, I was all about BareMinerals everything on my face, and I loved it for a really long time. I will say that the BareMinerals original does have bismuth oxychloride in it, and mostly in the summertime when I was sweating, it would make my skin itch. So my skin can be a little bit sensitive to bismuth when I sweat and I'm outside in the heat. And the matte version of the BareMinerals foundation does not have the bismuth oxychloride in it, but that ingredient is what gives this product its shine. It does have mica in it as well, which does that too, but the bismuth really gives the extra added shine to the original foundation. So I got the shades medium beige 12 and light 08, and I can definitely tell light 08 is too dark and too yellow for me, but the medium beige I think I'll be able to get to work. Because this does have an SPF of 15 in it, another way that I can use this product is almost like a finishing powder. So I would use my foundation and set it with like a translucent powder and then lightly buff this over the top. It would give me a little extra coverage, a little extra shine, and then a little bit of SPF to it. But I found it rather interesting that this shade looks like it's one I could probably pull off, but I typically go for the cool undertones. I remember I used to mix the shade medium with the shade fair. They both had cool undertones, and those 2 shades mixed together were kind of, well, I suppose it'd be like 2 parts fair to 1 part medium, and that was like my perfect shade for my skin in the matte version. But anyway, that's like a whole long explanation. But anyway, I want to thank BareMinerals for sending me over their original powder foundation. I also got in this lovely PR package from Ciate London. They sent over 2 of their bronzers, which they repackaged and revamped the formula, and then also this Brazilian Glow eyeshadow palette. So the bronzers are the Brazilian Glow bronzing powders. Again, they sent me over 2 shades. These are made in China, and there's a total of 0.28 ounces of product. So this is the box packaging, and then they again revamped the actual packaging. It's kind of got like this sort of matte satin kind of look to it, and before these had like little stars I think on the cover. So the shade that I've got on my face today is the shade South Beach, which both of these bronzers run really warm. The South Beach shade is darker than the other one, and it also has gold micro glitters in it. I think they look like micro glitters, but they don't really translate on the skin for me, or either they're like the larger mica particles. So it does have a little bit of a sheen to it. And this is really pigmented, like very pigmented. It blends out really nice, and it has kind of that coconut kind of a scent to it, but it doesn't linger on the skin or anything like that. And typically I prefer a more neutral or cool tone bronze with like a red undertone to it, but these warmer shades, when I pair them with like orange or corally cheeks and like the green gold sparkly highlighters, they tend to look really pretty like that. So I've actually worn this quite a few times with a similar look that I have on today with like that shiny green highlight, and it turns out really nice. But they are both very warm bronzers. And then the other one is Palm Island, and this one is a matte bronzer and it's lighter than the other one, but this one even pulls more warm on my skin tone than the other one, so that's probably why I'm using the deeper one more so. But that one right there again is Palm Island, and again that's what the packaging on that looks like. And I'm not sure if this is a new eyeshadow palette or not, but they sent over the Brazilian Glow eyeshadow palette. I hadn't seen it prior to getting it in this PR package. There's a total of 1.23 ounces of product, or 35 grams, so you are getting a lot of product in there, and this one is also made in China. So that is what the box packaging looks like. And I've actually worn this palette quite a few times since I've gotten it, especially the matte shades in here, because they're like pigmented, but they're so easy to blend. They have like this like creamy consistency to them. So I've actually worn quite a few of the shades inside of this guy. It's a cardboard packaging with a magnetic closure. And this palette is also definitely a one and done for me. It's got some really nice lighter shades in there, some mid-tones, some deeper shades, really pretty shimmers. Some of the shimmers are a little similar in color, but they have different undertones. So let's go ahead and give you guys some swatches here. Today I just went for, I wanted to wear just like a really summery favorite palette of mine, so I wore the Fiery palette, and you've just really got some nice like warm neutrals and some plummy colors. And then these next ones. Ciate used to be sold at Sephora, but I don't think that they are anymore. They're Baked Gelée blushes that were like in this little round compact with stars on it. Those used to be some of my favorite blushes. I still really like them. There's one in a coral shade that I've like worn the embossing all the way off of it. But I think since Ciate has like switched manufacturers and did some rebranding, and I think their products are a little bit more affordable now too, if I'm not mistaken. And these next ones. And then these last four. So that guy right there is from Ciate London. Those are the two bronzers right there. And again, that one right there is the Brazilian Glow eyeshadow palette. Also a huge thank you to Ciate London for sending over that PR package. And then I just got this package from Beautylish. Sonia G and Beautylish sent me over her latest brush launch, which is the Sheer Buffer, which has got a really good functional design. Typically like a stippling style brush like this, so the longer bristles are a super soft kind of synthetic, and it's great for cream product because they are synthetic, and then when you push a little bit harder you'll kind of hit the natural bristles, and then that buffs out the product really well. But I actually like a stipple brush. Not only are they good for creams, but I like them for really pigmented powder products as well, because you can get that pigment on those, again, those longer bristles, and kind of distribute it without getting too much in one spot, and then you can push a little bit harder to buff it out. And I've used brushes like this a lot for like bronzers and stuff, so I think in that aspect the name sheer buffer really works because it shears out a more pigmented product, or a product that is a little bit harder to buff out with a more dense bristle. This is going to be your friend there because it's going to buff that product out a little bit easier than something that's quite dense. And you really can't go wrong with Sonia G brushes. The quality is really impeccable. She's got the name of the brush on the handle right there. It's an ombre from red to black, and then on here it says Sonia G as well. And they're just nicely weighted, beautiful, beautiful handcrafted brushes. I love every single Sonia G brush that I have. Some I use more than others, some I have duplicates of many. Huge thank you to Sonia G and Beautylish for sending over their latest brush launch right there. Again, that is the new sheer buffer right there, and it is available on Beautylish as well. So you can see it's circular all the way around, and then just a nice light dusting of powder, and then push a little harder and you're going to get the buff out of it. Super pretty brush, very, very soft as well. I also got a really lovely package from Catrice Cosmetics. They sent over some blushes, a face palette, and then also this like beach towel, which I think will come in super handy when I head to the lake. But it's the Get the ultimate summer glow with our new Catrice Cosmetics blush and bronze products. So they have 6 shades of the Air blushes. They also have the Summer Obsession bronzer, blush, and highlighter palette. And then they also sent over 2 of their Cheek Flirt face sticks, but there are 3 shades of that available. So this is the PR card that came inside of there, and the products came in this see-through bag, which is also going to come in really handy for taking to the lake. So I'll start off with the Summer Obsessions bronzer, blush, highlighter palette, matte and glow. So there are 2 highlighters in here, 2 blushes, and 2 shades of bronzer, and I have worn every product in here, and the blushes are really easy to work with type of shades. There's like a sparkly corally orange, and then a matte version, and there's also a lighter kind of warmer bronzer, and then a cooler tone deeper bronzer. I actually mixed between the 2 shades when I'd used it, and I thought it turned out great. And both of those again are matte. And then you've got 2 shades of the highlighter, and I got along with this pretty well, but there was something interesting that transpired on the top of my cheeks. And I was outside and I was like busting it out. It was super hot, very sweaty, everything. But when I came in that evening, I kind of had some irritation, almost like a semi rash on the top of my cheeks where I had put the highlighter. So I don't know if it's a combination of, you know, the heat and the sweat and the highlighter, or if it was just the highlighter, some irritation that I had. I haven't worn it since then because I had those little dots there. They've since gone away. It wasn't like a huge thing, but that did happen to me, so I'm a little apprehensive about using those highlighter shades again. I had no issues with the bronzer or blush though, and the highlighters are really pretty, like standard powder highlighters too. Got a nice shine to them. I wish that the Ulta that I always go to carried Catrice products, but they don't. I can only ever kind of get them on the Ulta website online, or either the Catrice website. But those are the 2 blushes, and then there are the bronzers, and then here's the lighter highlighter and the more golden highlighter. And then I should mention as well, this guy is made in the PRC. So that is the Summer Obsession bronzer, blush, and highlighter palette, matte and glow right there. And I'm going to leave those up while I swatch the Air blushes as well, because there are some similar shades to those 2 blushes that are in this palette too. So they sent over all 6 shades of these guys. So they come in a clear acrylic packaging, so you can see the shade inside of there. 0.19 ounces in each one of these, and these are actually made in Poland. So I'm going to start off with the shade that I've got on as a blush on my cheeks today, which is the shade 010 Coral Sky. And this is one of the ones that kind of has some 2-tone aspects to it. And I've just been mixing all the shades in the multiple shade versions for blushes. And these blushes, I've worn again all of them. They are so easy to use. They adhere to the cheeks. They blend out really nice. They're just a really easy to throw on blush. This next one is 130 Spice Space, which is a rosy shade, kind of a dusty rose. And they're just really silky smooth. as well. So that one there is Spice Space. And then we've got Rosy Love 030. This is another one with like 3 different shades in there. This is actually the one I believe I've worn the most. It's like a super easy to wear pink shade. So that one there is Rosy Love. And then we've got Peach Heaven. I've worn this one quite a few times as well. Again, this one is Peach Heaven. I will say, out of the 6 shades that are available, this one is the deepest shade. So they do kind of run mid-tone or lighter. There aren't some super like rich shades, but that guy there again is Peach Heaven. And then we've got Berry Breeze, a little bit deeper kind of plummy pink. So that one again is Berry Breeze. And then the last one out of the 6 is the shade Cloud Wine. So again, this one is Cloud Wine. And I believe that the shades that kind of have the trios in them have got a little bit more of a sheen to them, where the solid ones are like a matte satin. But that color there is Cloud Wine. And then I've got 2 shades of the Cheek Flirt Face Sticks, and I haven't worn either one of these just yet, but they're very creamy. 0.19 ounces of product in here, and these are also made in Poland. So this first shade is number 010, R in Peach. R in Peach. I don't know. And these appear to be matte. So this one is R in Peach. And I actually like how, like, the creaminess of these, and they're called a face stick, so I'm assuming you probably could use them on the lips, but I think that these would be really pretty lipsticks. But I haven't used them as of yet. So that one's R in Peach, and the other one is a little bit more pink, and this is the shade Techno Pink 020 right here. Let's see how much. I'll twist them all the way up so you can see the amount of product that's in there. So again, this one is Techno Peach right here. Nice pigmentation. So should I like blend them out a little bit? Yeah, for me, they have a little bit more of the feeling of a consistency of a lip product. And typically when cream products feel like that to me, it's very hard for me to use them over a set foundation. It'll just like pick it up or move it around. So when I use these, I'm probably going to try them out as a lipstick. So those are the products that Catrice sent me over, and a huge thank you to them. And then I got a PR package from Colourpop, and they like revamped some of their lip products. So it says it's back and better than ever. Matte, blotted, and glossy lip, ultra performance, ultra lip loving ingredients, ultra lightweight. So they've got 11 new shades plus 5 OG faves in their ultra matte lip. There are 9 new shades plus 3 OG faves in their ultra blotted lip. And then ultra glossy lip, there are 12 all new shades in that formulation. So this is the card that came in there. And some of these glosses, I didn't get any of the shimmery ones, but some of those shimmery ones look really pretty. So I got 4 of the ultra blotted lips, and this is that formulation that's got like a dimethicone style to it, where you like swipe it and it really blurs the lips well. I was gonna wear a really vibrant orange lip with my eye look today, but then I was like, there's a little bit of pink in that shimmery shadow that's on the lid, so I opted for this ultra blotted lip shade in Attention Please. And so I put it on, and then I blurred it with my finger. I did use a lip liner as well. I used the RMS Beauty Go Nude lip pencil, just kind of a nude, and then I went over it with the lip product, and then I kind of again used my finger to kind of blur it down. And I was wearing this when I had lunch today, and it was still there after I had eaten. I think it's got a little bit of a staining effect to it, but I did go over it with a dash of a gloss as well when I started filming, because it was just a little bit drier, because I'm so used to having something that's emollient on the lips. Like the product itself isn't like a dry down like liquid lip or anything. Again, it's that dimethicone style formula, but I always like to have something that feels a little bit more hydrating, especially on the inner portion of my lips. So I do have a little bit of one of the glosses on as well, but primarily it's this guy that I've got on my lips. So again, that is the Attention Please shade. This is what the packaging looks like. And I'll blur them on the back of my hand too after I'm done swatching the 4 that they sent over in this formula. And then we've got Still an Icon, which is a really pretty nude, like dusty nude pink. So that one is Still an Icon. And then we have got a little bit warmer nude in Zuma. So this one is Zuma. It's got just a little bit of a sweet scent to them, but not a whole ton. So that one is Zuma. And then a really deep kind of chocolate shade, chocolate kind of wine shade in Cannon Drive. So this one is Cannon Drive. Right there. And then let's blur them out. Yeah, you can totally see, like, once I take my finger to them, the blur happen, you know? And that also, like, when you take your finger and kind of blur them, that also helps the color last longer on the lips. So those are the 4 shades of the Ultra Blotted Lips that I got sent over. And again, I've got this guy on my lips today. And then they sent 5 of the Ultra Matte Lips. And I'll start off with this pink shade called Flurries. So these ones here, I believe, dry down. I haven't worn any of these ones just yet. But they're that thinner formulation that I think are going to perform more like a liquid lipstick. I'll let them dry on my arms and tell you here in a minute if that's the case. And then we have got the shade Beeper, which is a pretty nude color. So that one is Beeper. And then we've got Tulum, T-U-L-U-M, right here. So this one's Tulum. And then we've got a red called Risk Taker. Looks like kind of an orange-based red. Oh, it's actually kind of a true reddish color. So that one is Risk Taker. And then there's this really fun shade called Panther, which is a deep blue color. And if these do like dry down and kind of set, I'm going to try this out as an eyeliner, which is something I like to do with liquid lipsticks. Gosh, that is a pretty color. I instantly like go to eyeliner that I want to try it out as an eyeliner. So that one there is the shade Panther right there. And then they sent over 4 of the ultra glossy lips. So this guy here is called All Me Cream. It's kind of a pinky shade, and that's what I gently kind of put it on the center of my lips and went like kind of like that, just to give, again, it just helps, especially when you're like talking this much in a video. It just feels more comfortable to have something a little hydrating in the center of my lips. So anyway, this is All Me Cream, and again, I've got a dash of this on over the top of that lipstick. I didn't do a very good job of wiping those swatches off. Yeah, they kind of have just the same very faint sweet scent. So again, that one is All Me Cream. And then we've got this pretty nude color called Lynx Cream. I wish that a couple of like the other lip shades were kind of this nude of a color. It's really pretty. So that one again is the shade Lynx Cream right there. And then we have Hit Snooze Cream, which is a little bit deeper nude. So that one is Hit Snooze right there. And then the last one is kind of a warm terracotta kind of color, and this one is Coffee Break right here. And I don't think that any of these ones are like too pigmented to just be able to slap on. They've got a nice like sheer factor to them. So that one is Coffee Break right there. And again, those ones are the, what I call them, the glossy lips right there. And these actually feel, they feel kind of like a oil gloss hybrid, where they're not like super sticky and they feel quite hydrating on the lips, which when it comes to glosses, I prefer that like gloss oil hybrid, because again, they feel so comfortable on and they feel nourishing at the same time. So these haven't been on for a very long time, but I believe that they're going to dry down. They have a little bit of a dry down factor to them. Let me try this guy. Yeah, so I think that given more time, these are going to dry down like a liquid lipstick, but they don't feel like drying when I'm like swatching them. There's still a little bit of moisture to them, where some of them can really dry down, you know. So those are the kind of liquid lipsticks. Those are the blurring, and then these ones here are the glosses. So a fun little revamp there from Colourpop, and a huge thank you to them as well for sending me over those lip products. And that's everything that I have for my haul today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it and found it helpful. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to wear sunscreen, and I will see you guys later. Bye.